Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another race meeting here in the Renault Clio Cup Europe, the 30th anniversary of this championship, and welcome to rounds 13 and 14 from one of the very greatest circuits in the world, the Hungaroring, right in the heart of Hungary. Hello everybody, welcome to the Clio Cup Europe here from the Hungaroring. Welcome to rounds 13 and 14 of the championship. We are very, very excited to be here in the heart of Hungary, one of the very greatest circuits in the world, known to a lot of people as Monaco without the buildings. It's a very, very tricky circuit to overtake at a lot of the time. And these drivers are going to show you that that's not always the case today. These Clio drivers are very, very exciting to watch indeed. Plenty of fun throughout from all of these guys. You'll see a lot of pace from all of them all weekend. And especially some fantastic battles throughout the pack. Not just with the lead guys as well, but also throughout the latter positions further down the field. Now, an interesting thing to note, a car that's just gone through your shot there is Nicolas Milan, who is second in the championship at the moment. Absolute extraordinaire of Clio racing. And he has a very, very good chance at taking back the championship lead this weekend. But he is in a red car this time round rather than a white or even yellow car as he's been driving before. He actually swapped the car quite recently with Mark Guillot, one of his teammates, to see whose car was quicker. There is Thomas Pekar in the orange machine. We last saw him at Hockenheim and he was very exciting there. The Czech driver, very, very quick indeed. As we see cars making their way round to the grid now. There is Kevin Jimenez, who at the moment leads the Challengers Cup standings by a long, long margin. He currently has 256 points to the 115 of Alexandre Alboy, who is second, and then Mathieu Lanapudon is only 5 points back from him. But currently the situation stands that Jimenez is on a real mission, and nobody can really get close to him as things stand. In the overall championship, though, it's number 15, David Pouget for GPA Racing, that is the top of the pile, but he's only 5 points ahead of Nicolas Milan. It was that way going to Paul Ricard. There is David Pouget in the white and yellow machine there, leading the rest of the GPA Racing cars around, and Kevin Jimenez, number 72. But it was a real tale of two halves at Paul Ricard. We had a fantastic result for Nicolas Milan, finishing ahead of this man, David Pouget. And then David grabbed second place at the right on the line in the final race of the weekend after an incredible battle with Thibaut Bossy and Nicolas Milan. Mark Guillot took his first win of the championship in that race. And they now make their way to the grid. That there is Filippo Berto in the number 27 car. He's lining up 7th on the grid for this race. And there is David Pouget, your championship leader. Apologies for the blip in the audio for a second there. Doing this remotely at the moment, so managing to do things back here from in the UK. Now there is Nicolas Milan in the red car. Now he's been driving a white car all season, as mentioned. And this weekend it's very, very different for him because I'm pretty sure it's a brand new car. So I'm wondering how different it's going to be. You can see they all start life as a white Clio, and then often they are wrapped in their different colours. Gerardo's still using a different car as well. I believe that car, I'm trying to remember which team it was that they got it from. It was, I think it's an ex-Sheffo Sport car, the blue one that Anthony Gerardo is driving on the left of the grid. So they are changing around quite a bit this season, which has intrigued me a lot, not just as a commentator, but as a spectator for this as well. There is the bright red machine of Nicolas Milan. Pole position for him once again. And there is Anthony, who had a bit of argy-bargy with his not just teammate but team manager Nicolas Milan at the last round. Mathieu Lanapoudon, the third of 4 Milan competition cars at the front of the grid. They've had a really, really strong lockout here. And there is 4th place, Marc Guillot. You can't miss Marc in a hurry. Obviously taking the win at Paul Ricard last time out. A fantastic performance from him. And then Kevin Jimenez in 5th at the moment. Like I've said, leading the Challengers Cup by a long, long way at the moment, so no real worry there. He's got Mathieu Lanapoudon, who is currently 3rd in that championship, just in front of him on the grid in 3rd place, looking to take 2nd. But there's the man with a title lead to defend at the moment, David Pouget. Then we have Filippo Berto, car 27. Wonderful pink, yellow and green machine. Very exciting driver to watch. I believe he's the highest placed driver on the grid that isn't French. He's the first non-French driver on the grid, the Italian. Then we have Thomas Pekar, as mentioned. Very, very good fun to watch at the Hungaroring a few weeks ago. Seems like a lifetime ago now, to be fair. But as you can see, it's nice and hot there at the moment. But here is your grid then. Nicolas Milan starts on pole position alongside Anthony Gerardo. Mathieu Lanapoudon and Marc Guillot make it a 1, 2, 3, 4 from line competition. Kevin Jimenez 5th, ahead of David Pouget in 6th place. Very, very strong first 3 rows of the grid, separated by almost nothing. Then it's Filippo Berto alongside Thomas Pekar on row 4. Jerzy Spinkovic lines up alongside Andreas Stuckey on row 5. Jerzy Spinkovic, another one of the Challengers Cup drivers. Then we have Lionel Viguier and Alessio Alcidi. Then it's Gabriele Tirelli in 13th. Watch out for him with Fabian Rival alongside. He's the highest placed gentleman driver. Quinto Stefano is 15th alongside Massimilio Danetti in on the 8th row of the grid in 16th place. Then it's Paolo Felice ahead of Matteo Ruggetti. Henrik Siebel and Daniel Pasquale round out your top 20. Then we have Gianluca Pellegrini and Ercole Cipolla in 22nd. Fabrizio Ungaretto unfortunately starts at the back of the grid after he had an off this morning at turn 4. It looks to me like his car is at the back of the grid. The teal coloured machine from PMA Motorsport. We of course have fans back here at the Hungaroring, which is great to see once again. Nice to see motorsport going slightly the way of normality again, with fans and spectators and all sorts at the grid, or at the circuit I should say. But we now get all of the officials and teams and everybody off the grid, and we get ready for the first race of the weekend. You can see it's definitely very hot. Now further down the grid you can see the very, very bright yellow car further down. That's Henrik Siebel, car 51 in 19th place. He's another one that's very exciting to watch. Keep an eye out for him. He may come through the order. The white car on the right-hand side as well, about halfway down the grid with the blue and red French tricolour at the front of the car, is the Italian driver, Gabriele Tirelli, car 12. I've mentioned him already. And he's another one that he's really out of order there on the grid, although there were a lot of track limits warnings this morning in qualifying, at least 20 of them. So the drivers were certainly pushing the limit. But we make our way off the grid for the first time then, for the first green flag lap. Looks like Filippo Berto's got a bit of an issue with his lights there. They're flickering on and off a bit, but not particularly staying on. You can see some drivers further down just getting some heat into those front tyres, really lighting them up. Now the run down to turn 1 is going to be oh so important here at the Hungaroring. It's a long, long right-hander. And it's very important to get a decent run down towards turn 2, because after that the circuit becomes quite single file in places. I was actually commentating on the FIA European Truck Racing Championship here a few weeks ago. There's a massive mark of some donuts down at turn 1 that were done by hometown hero Norbert Kisch. And you can even see the 2 black streaks going straight on there. We're from Stefan Fass, who went straight on at turn 2. But the Clios look tiny in comparison, as you can imagine. But there's a lot more real estate on the circuit for them to take up. So you can expect 2 wide and even 3 wide in places, especially down the straight as well. It's a much longer straight than it seems. That was the number 9 car of Andreas Stuckey, a white and black machine. He's starting 10th on the grid, rounding out the top 10 here today. And there's Jerzy Spinkovic as well in the white, black and orange machine. He's another exciting one to watch. Polish driver, very, very young driver as well. Really proving himself so far. Not just in these cars, but just in general. You know, his pace and consistency is fantastic. There they are through the chicane. Very, very difficult bit of the circuit to get right. Again, it's all about momentum on the way out of there, because the section after it is quite single file. If somebody gets a better run than you and manages to go down the inside, then you'll find it difficult to get back ahead. But we've got a very wonderful, colourful grid here this weekend. There's Ercole Cipolla, and there is the repaired front end on Fabrizio Ungaretto's car. It's usually teal at the front, but they've obviously got the white and black bumper and bonnet on that machine this time. But the 2 cars at the front of the grid are not the same colour as when they started the season. Like I've said, Milan was in a white car. Gerardo was also in a white, black and orange car, similar to Jerzy Spinkovic. You can see them now. Look at the rubber streaks that they're leaving down on the circuit as they weave aggressively to get some heat in the tyres now at the end of this formation lap. And even if the camera does blur, you can still see Henrik Siebel in the 51. There is car 1, Thomas Pekar. It's not number 1 for a reason. He isn't the reigning champion. Reigning champion is Nicolas Milan at the front of the grid. The fantastic noise these cars make. Turbocharged engines, of course. Around 200 horsepower. Very, very pokey indeed. So Milan takes his place on the front of the grid. Plays it safe, leaves a little bit of space in front of him. But they will line up for the first race of the weekend. Round 13 of the 2021 Clio Cup Europe. After this, we head to Imola in 2 weeks' time. Another legendary Grand Prix circuit in its own right. But the matter at hand is here. 25 minutes plus 1 lap. We get Ungaretto at the back of the grid. The green flag flies at the back. And round 13 of the 2021 Clio Cup Europe is away. Plenty of smoke by Filippo Berto in the middle of the grid. Looks like a fantastic launch from Gerardo and Gio and Lene Poudon. Milan didn't quite get the launch he wanted. Pekar's gone around the inside of Pouget, who switches over to the left, but it's Gerardo to the front. Gio to second. He's going to try and go for the lead, though. Car 2P2 at the moment doesn't want to stay there. Goes around the outside. That doesn't work for him. Nicolas Milan is now on the inside. Pouget runs wide, and Berto's there to pick up the pieces. But Pouget's now going to have the inside for turn 2. Look out for Jimenez as well, the first of the non-Milan competition cars. He's trying to overtake Mathieu Lanapoudon. If you're around the outside there, you're then on the inside for turn 3. Berto's gone very wide and lost a number of places. A number of them as well. That, I believe, going past him there is the number 38 of Alessio Alcidi. But it's Anthony Gerardo leading the way at the moment. Marc Gio in second. Then it's Milan, Jimenez, Pekar and Lanapoudon. Pekar having a fantastic start. Oh, there's a car around further back at turn 4. Trying to figure out which one of them that was. And David Pouget is under investigation for a false start. interestingly enough. He's just chucked it down the inside of Thomas Pekar into the chicane. Through he goes. Look at the snake of them weaving one way, then the other. It was one of the other GPA racing cars that was around in the background there, I'm afraid. Not quite sure which one of them it was. Might have been Fabien Rival, actually, the number 77 car. But look at them all now, lifting the right rear off the ground as they go around the long, fast right-hander. Guillaume all over the back of Gerardo. They may be teammates, but they are not working together here. They're having a good fight. Gerardo feels the need to defend into the right-hander. Runs a little bit wide. You can see why they've had track limits warnings. Guillaume looks down the inside, nearly contact, pushing him around the penultimate corner. Jimenez is ahead of Lanapudonk, but he's around the outside now and can't make it stick. Is he going to have him into the final corner? They rob a little bit. They lean on each other. He's later on the brakes. Gets it turned in. Fantastic stuff by Jimenez. Now, it could be big championship implications for Pouget. This is what happened to Fabien Rival. Oh, he's been clipped by, I believe that's Ongaretto. He bounces off the wall. Car doesn't look too damaged. Now, Ongaretto must have had an absolute demon start because he gained about 7 places by turn 4. Nicolas Milan wants to gain 1 more place, and that's on his teammate Marc Guillaume. He can't afford to do this, though, because the 2 GPA cars of Jimenez and Pouget are both in there waiting to pounce. Now, don't forget, Jimenez in 4th and Lanapudonk in 5th are fighting for the top Challengers Cup position as well. Bit more argy-bargy there. A little bit of a headbutt from Lanapudonk as they go around turn 2, sideways on the exit. Now Pouget's in the mix as well. Very close to contact. Lanapudonk runs him out wide. He says, not on your life. Pouget says, let me back on, please. Gets his elbows out. It's not the politest way of doing it. Into turn 4, Pouget is ahead. Thomas Pekar just behind them. Big dent in the door of Pouget's car, as you can expect. On the left-hand side, you can see the classifications. C for Challengers Cup, GD for Gentleman Driver. Lionel Vigrier, the highest placed of those at the moment. There is your race leader, Anthony Gerardo. Won one of the races at Paul Ricard. Jimenez cuts the chicane. Not voluntarily. I think he might have had a bit of a push there from Pouget. And now Jerzy Spinkovic is involved in this train as well. They go from left to right. Gerardo way off the road, getting a flash from Guillaume. Mark's certainly showing some sort of dismay at the moment. But even the pace that these cars carry through there is absolutely mad. And David Pouget has had a 10-second time penalty for a false start. That is huge for the championship. Because him and Nicolas Milan, while they've got over, well, they've nearly got 500 points each. They are only 5 points apart and streaks ahead of everybody else. So that is massive. They've both had a poor result each this season. They both had a non-score. Only 1 race out of the 12 we've had so far. That's going to be massive for Pouget because the field is so close together. 10 seconds will put him down in 16th place. So the best thing he can do now is get absolutely on it and just try and streak away from the cars that are closer behind. He's got a while to do it now. Still over 20 minutes to go. On to lap 3. But it's the not quite French tricolour of the blue, yellow and red machines. Gerardo, Guillaume and Milan leading us at the moment. You can hear the wastegates on the turbos spitting away as they come down. Berto just behind Stuckey in the number 9 car. As they head up towards turn 4. Going now into the long right-hander. And now look at this. Guillaume trying to get past Gerardo. They're side by side through there. They're not going to help each other in doing that. Oh, Guillaume has to get on it on the brakes. And now they both go flying off the circuit. Pouget right behind Nicolas Milan as well now. And now Milan actually turns it into an attack on Guillaume round the outside, down the inside. Thank you very much, he says. Oh, it was a very big sideways moment for Kevin Jimenez there. Lanapudonk's going to get back in front. Milan looks like he's gone a bit deep there. Guillaume's going to try and get the run back at him. This is all helping Gerardo at the front. Here's a replay of the move. So Guillaume chucks it up the inside. Large moment on two wheels. I was just looking at the timing screen to see where Pouget would be. And then suddenly, Gerardo gets it back. Look at this. A little bit of a lock-up on the way in. Chucks it in hard. Makes sure he attacks the curb. Big lift. The right rear was already off the ground on the way into the corner. And then that's a great cutback from Gerardo. Millimetre perfect to take advantage of it. Now Milan chasing him down. There's Landa Pudong. Jimenez still just trying to close in on him. They keep swapping and swapping. Now Gerardo's starting to come under attack here from Milan, and Guillaume is working as a rear gunner at this stage. But they're all starting to just close back up again. This is the thing with these cars. You get a real accordion effect. They'll spread out into these little duos or trios, and then a whole train of them, maybe 8, 9 or 10, will all just suddenly clump back up together. It's so difficult to get away. A lot of it does rely on slipstream a lot of the time. They're all so close together though. But it's still Gerardo leading, still Milan in second place. You can see Guillaume going defensive down the inside. He's just making sure that he covers that line from Pouget. Berto's dropped 3 places in this race. Ongaretto is up to 14th, by the way, after starting 23rd on the grid. Here's a replay, and that is the number 76 of Massimilio Danetti. He's made a bit of a mess of that into the wall, and here is another moment a bit further back. Big moment there for Felice in the number 45 car through turn 4. Bit of a scary corner to have a moment in. It's so high speed and you're going over a crest on the way in, so if you chuck the car in too hard, the rear can get away from you. Now look in the background, Pouget having a go at Guillaume. The yellow car down the inside, running him out wide a little bit, maybe hoping that Landa Pudong can join this party as well and help him out, but squirreling around on the exit. Guillaume just holds on. All the while helping Gerardo in Milan. They were first and second in the first race of the weekend at Paul Ricard. Looks like they're going to do the same again here. Still 15.5 minutes of it left to go. Jimenez off the back of Landa Pudong now. But here is the lead battle using all of the curbs. Gerardo's body language of the car just looks so aggressive. He's really pushing it. He's been flamboyant all season, very exciting to watch. Streaking through the latter section of the circuit. Milan's car, especially in red, just looks even more menacing. He's looking down the inside of Gerardo. He's going down the inside of Gerardo. Giving it a look. He doesn't want to dent the new car, I'm pretty sure. Hard onto the brakes. Still nothing doing though for Milan. He's holding on so well. As you can see, it's still Landa Pudong leading the way in the Challengers Cup. A little bit further back as well, chucking it up the inside. That's Alcide under attack from Tirelli. Tirelli's not really made the progress I expected here. He started 13th. That's going to be 11th place for him. But Gabriel, one of few drivers to take a race win this season. We've had Pouget, we've had Milan, we've had Marc Guillaume, and Tirelli is Alcide all over the back of him. They've got Viguier watching this. Now, Lionel doesn't want to give up his gentleman driver's lead, but he's got quite the gap back to Quinto Stefano. It's about 9 seconds, so he could potentially have a bit of fun with that battle, but needs to manage the risks. The real fight, though, is for third at the moment, the final podium spot between Guillaume, Puget and Lannepoudon. But there's your lead battle, Gerardo from Milan. No matter what Nicolas does with a Clio, it just always looks like it's absolutely on rails, to be fair. He just never seems phased, never looks like he's overdriving the car. As the right rear coming off the ground. Fantastic work by the cameraman there to pick up on that. These things really do lift the rears a lot. They properly lean on the front corners when they chuck into a corner. There you can see it bouncing around. Bit of smoke as the wheel regains speed, hitting the ground. But it's still a 1-2-3 for Milan competition at the moment. Nicolas, team manager, having a big defensive move put on him there by Gerardo. Goes all the way over to the right-hand side of the circuit. Now, apparently, they had a word with one another after the first race at Paul Ricard. Gerardo had a technical issue with the car in the qualifying session leading up to it, and he didn't take part in the second race, but apparently he withdrew from that race. It wasn't due to the technical issue. Now that is Felice flying down the inside of Pellegrini, and he's absolutely drilled him into the right-hander in the Press League by Oregon team car. Seemed like a bit of an over-exuberant move there, I'm afraid, by Felice. Currently sits bottom of the pile in 23rd place. We did have 24 cars set to start this weekend. Just trying to figure out who it is that we don't have on the grid. Oh, sorry, we do have 24. But the 333 car that we saw there is being shared. So there are 24 drivers, 23 cars. Now, it looks like Gerardo's got away from Milan a little bit. I say got away, it's about half a second, so it's barely a big gap. Now, the incident we just saw there, cars 333 and 45, they are under investigation. And Lionel Viguier, by the way, has got ahead of Alcide in that last sector, so he's finally got involved in that battle properly, made the position. But Gerardo has been fantastic so far. Great launch off the line at the start of the race, and he has stayed right up there. Here's an incident for the back, and that is how Viguier got ahead of Alcide. Alcide just overdid it into turn 2, unfortunately. Easy to do, though. The front wheels pretty much do everything on these cars. They are front-wheel drive, of course. The rear wheels are just sort of along for the ride, really. Back down to the 90-degree right-hander again. It looks like a little kink when you're on the way up to it. It can be very, very deceiving. Put a lot of laps here in the sim just to get used to how the circuit is, see what the drivers are seeing, what they're feeling. And it's not an easy track to get right. Like I said earlier at the top of the broadcast, some drivers call it Monaco without the buildings because of how hard it is to overtake here. There's Torelli trying to find a way past Berto. He wants to get into the top 10 at least. No reverse grids or anything in this championship. We have 2 qualifying sessions, 1 for each race. The next qualifying session will be tomorrow morning, and then the second race similar time. Race 2 a little bit later in the day tomorrow, 20 to 4 local time. They will have qualifying in the morning just before 10 o'clock. But look at that, Torelli. It's like there's a tow hook on the back of Filippo Berto's car. He's all over him. Speaking of all over him, Milan has managed to close back in on Gerardo. Peccar is right with Jimenez as well here. Jimenez just chucking the back end of the car out sideways. It looked loose earlier in the latter part of the lap. Seems like maybe he's got quite a bit of oversteer dialed into it at the moment. Looks like Peccar, never mind, having a look down the inside. Jimenez really throws it in very, very sideways. It's gone in way too hot. What's the run on the exit going to be like for Peccar? Is he going to have a look down the inside into the chicane? No, not this time round. Fantastic shots as they go through there. They're so busy soaring at the wheel. Now we've had a black and white flag for car 125. Now that's Jerzy Spinkovic in 8th place at the moment for track limits. So this guy just in the background of the shot there, he's unfortunately pushing a little bit too hard for the race director at the moment. Nicolas Milan's done the fastest lap last time round, and he's now taken the lead. Down the inside is Gerardo. Nice textbook manoeuvre. They haven't managed to get rid of Guillaume and Pouget at this stage, though. I'm wondering whether, with 8 and a bit minutes to go, whether they can actually get back involved in this and potentially steal a win, because it's still up for grabs. As you've seen, anybody can do it at this stage. But Nicolas Milan now, with Pouget getting that 10-second penalty, needs to make the most of it. And we've also had car 72, which is Kevin Jimenez, having 10 seconds added to his total race time for track limits. Wow. As Gerardo once again climbs all over the back of Milan, nearly contact out of turn 1. Side by side towards turn 2. But that's 2 major championship players with 10-second penalties. Milan goes a little bit hot into 2. Gerardo just slowly just scrapes the back of his car against Nicolas. But this is fantastic fighting. 2 teammates here. Don't forget, Nicolas Milan, owner-driver for that team. Gerardo moves across, says, get out of the way. Milan says, not on your life, through turn 4. Side by side still. Gerardo just off the circuit. Guillaume wants a piece of this as well. Leaning on each other, the 2 wing mirrors make contact. Now Guillaume's up the inside. Pouget's rubbing his hands together watching all this, knowing he's got a 10-second penalty, but he can get involved in this fight, maybe disturb the position slightly. Running his own line into the chicane. Guillaume steps out. The top 4 all covered by less than 4 Clio car lengths, I'd say. Amazing stuff to watch once again. Oh, somebody was very sideways going through there by the sound of it. Tyre squeal for days. And Jerzy Spinkovic, 10 seconds added for track limits. Cars 69 and 16 also getting a warning as well. There's big moment. Gerardo goes back through. I say back through, just about through the corner. Guillaume now down the inside of Milan. I'm wondering if Milan's overdone his tyres or got an issue or something here, but Guillaume goes through. Displaces the team manager. Pouget around the outside now as well. 2 championship protagonists going at it through the final corner. Pouget's got a fantastic run out of there. Has Milan got some sort of issue? Or was it just the outside line for Pouget working well? We'll have to see. But Mathieu Lannepoudon now in there as well. He's had a lot of slipstream. This is suddenly a 5-car battle for the lead now. And there's an incident between Milan and Gerardo under investigation. I think that'll be the moment that we had just there. So we've got 10 seconds added on for Jimenez, for Pouget, and for Spinkovic already. We'll have to see if we get any more, and we'll have to see what happens as a result of that investigation. Look at that, Milan turns in very late. Never mind a red Clio, it's driving with red mist at the moment. I think he's got some sort of issue. Maybe as a result of that contact there. Again, it always seems to happen whenever I look at the timing screen. But Lannepoudon all over the back of him now, probably wondering, can I overtake him? Am I allowed? Do I have the authority? Yeah, Milan's got an issue. The car does not want to turn left, does it? That's the issue there. He had a problem with that coming into the second to last corner last time round. I think he's going to have the same issue here as well. He just can't carry the pace through the corners. He's either overdone it on the fronts, or there is genuinely an issue with the front left. Now Gerardo under attack again from Guillaume. Pouget could still win this race on the road, you know. But with the 10-second penalty, be chucked further down the order. At the moment, that penalty would only put him, to be fair, into 8th place. But Jimenez and Jerzy Spinkovic also have 10-second penalties, so he'd only drop to 6th. So this is actually really working into the hands of David Pouget now, because they're so far ahead of everybody else. They're over 12 seconds ahead of Gabriele Torelli. On to lap 8 we go. Sorry, it's a lap 11, apologies. Everybody's doing their fastest laps on lap 7, so the whole thing lights up as 7. But this is the 11th lap of the race. And now look, Pouget starting to attack Guillaume. I don't think he needs to do that this early. He needs to wait for Guillaume to be right behind Gerardo. Then he can have a go. Just over 3 minutes left on the clock, and then we get another lap. Jimenez and Milan swapping places in the background as well. Nicolas, not really anything he can do at this stage. The car is just going away from him. I think Thomas Pekar got through as well, actually, as they crossed the sector line. He did. So Milan really dropping away now. It's such a shame. He was doing so well up front. Intriguing to hear back from the paddock afterwards what has happened there. Now I must mention them as well. I've got some wonderful people that feed me information from in the paddock at every race meeting when I'm doing this remotely. They really are a bunch of stars, the info they gave me and who's been talking about what. Now car 16 has just got a 10-second penalty now. That's Lionel Viguier. So that is the 4th 10-second penalty to be added in just this race. May as well give everybody a 10-second penalty and just keep the order as it is. Guillaume doesn't want to keep the order as it is, though. He's all over the back of Gerardo, who once again is defending for his life. It's just another fantastic showing of how Gerardo knows where to place a car. He's really, really good at this. Pouget all over the back of him. Now car 9 has had a black and white flag for track limits as well. That's Andreas Stuckey, 10th place at the moment. Have to see whether he cops a 10-second penalty come the end. So Guillaume goes one way then the other. He's going to try everything he can on Gerardo. Here's a look down the inside. You can see the back end of Gerardo's car just skipping around a little bit. Now car 12 also, which is Torelli, up into 9th place now, has also had a black and white flag for track limits. It is one of those circuits where you can take a few liberties, but not without the race director having a look. Guillaume tried to sell Gerardo the dummy there into turn 2, send him deep into the corner, but it didn't work. But they seem to be getting away from Pouget a little bit, which is helping them out massively. Through goes Guillaume again. A little bit of a lean, a real aggressive lean on the left-hand side of the car there through the chicane. Still, even gaps at the moment about, well, I was going to say about 0.3 of a second between each of them, but now Pouget, through those few corners, really closing in on Guillaume. It seems he's got some good pace around there. Now we're going to come on to the final lap after this. Gerardo still somehow leading this race. He just always finds a way to get back to the front. Lannapudon going well in 4th place, leads the Challengers Cup for this specific race at the moment. Jimenez 2nd in that one, but with a 10-second penalty, although Jerzy Spinkovic has got one as well, so those two will hold on to 2nd and 3rd, I believe, ahead of Alessio Alcidi. Final lap then. Gerardo leads it. Guillaume 2nd, Pouget 3rd, Lannapudon 4th, then Jimenez. Look at this from Pouget. Late on the brakes around the outside. Tries to get a good slingshot off the corner. Will it work for him? No. That's the blunt way of putting it. No. It did not work at all. He just couldn't get the car turned in where he needed it to. Gerardo seemingly holding the pace a little bit here in front of Guillaume, who waited a long time for his first win this season. He won last time out at the French Grand Prix. Very important weekend to take a win. It looks to me like Gerardo is able to hold on so far, but can Guillaume launch a last-second assault? Only a couple of corners to go now. Most of it's going to be single file. There's Pouget third, trying everything he can, cuts the chicane. Is that Filippo Berto? Berto's stopping. He has dropped right down the order. And the man that started 7th on the grid is now completely stationary. Someone that isn't stationary, though, is Anthony Girardot. Now, don't forget, the incident with Milan was under investigation. So we'll have to see how that ends up. Guillaume dancing around all over the back of him, trying to get through. Now, he's got 2 more corners to go. He's not going to have much of an advantage from there. It looks to me like it's going to be another fantastic victory for the very exciting Anthony Girardot out the final corner. It's another win for Milan competition. Car 5 takes the win. Girardot from Guillaume from Pouget, but Pouget is going to get a 10-second penalty. Lana Pudong is going to inherit 3rd place and win the Challengers Cup. Jimenez follows him across the line. There's Thomas Pekar going through as well. Nicolas Milan eventually just finishing ahead of Torelli. Pekar is classified 4th. Pouget goes down to 5th with his penalty. Milan is 6th. That's important for Pouget, though. He's turned it around and managed to open his championship lead against Nicolas Milan. More battles crossing the line now. Stuckey finishes car 9, P9. Spinkovic is still classified in 10th place. But there is your race 1 winner, Anthony Girardot. Great performance. Absolutely great performance there. Plenty of fun to watch. There was obviously the contact with Milan that was being looked into. But still, what another amazing race here from Clio Cup Europe. So much fun. Plenty of action throughout, and you see what I mean about these battles near the front as well. They just so quickly change from being just 2 cars to then suddenly 3 cars, 4 cars, and then before you know it, you've got the entire top 10 all fighting for position. The marshals showing their appreciation. Epic stuff. Really, really epic stuff. There's your result then. Anthony Girardot takes the win from Marc Guillaume and Mathieu Lanapudon, a full Milan competition podium. Thomas Pekar finishes 4th ahead of David Pouget, who is also interestingly ahead of Nicolas Milan. Gabriel Torelli 7th ahead of Jimenez, Stuckey and Spinkovic, who finishes 3rd in the Challengers Cup. Lanapudon wins that ahead of Jimenez. Then behind them you have Alessio Alcidi, Fabrizio Ongaretto and Lionel Viguier, who finishes 13th, wins the Gentleman Drivers' Cup for that race ahead of Massimiliano Danetti. Behind him was Quinto Stefano in 15th place, another gentleman driver, finishing 2nd there ahead of Matteo Righetti. Henrik Siebel, another one of the Challengers Cup drivers, ahead of Daniele Pasquale. Ecco Cipolla, Gianluca Pellegrini is the last car on the lead lap. Filippo Berto didn't finish. Fabian Rivel and Paolo Felisa also falling by the wayside. But the top 3 in the gentleman drivers then, Lionel Viguier, Quinto Stefano and Matteo Righetti. They finished 13th, 15th and 16th respectively. But the guys that finished 1st and 2nd overall are there on your screen. Anthony Girardot takes another win. And what a fantastic win it was. And he's going to be a very, very happy man after that one. Almost probably a bit relieved as well after having to hold off so many of them for so long. There's Marc Guillaume, car 2 P2. He won't be too disappointed with that one. He certainly had to fight for it. His engineer there hinting at the moment on 2 wheels through the chicane, which I'm sure caught him out. That's Mathieu Lanapudon finishing third overall. Challengers Cup winner as well in that race. He really put on a good show for everybody. We also have Mark Guillot just having a quick chat there as well with Girardo. And there is Jimenez having a quick chat there. Is that Lanapudong he's having a quick chat with as well, just to discuss what's gone on in that race, because there were so many of them having a great fight all the way through. They all probably don't quite know where everybody ended up in the big shuffle. Still not sure what happened to Nicolas Milan, which is a shame. He eventually crossed the line in 6th position after the time penalties were given out. There's Audrey from Renault. She's been an absolute star this season in helping me with all the information I need and getting to and from circuits and so on. Here's a quick look back at what happened then. You can see Filippo Berto really lighting up the fronts off the start, but it was also important for Girardo to get in front of Nicolas Milan off the line. Thomas Pekar also having a great start. He would eventually finish 4th after starting 8th on the grid. But it was Milan Competition fortifying the front positions. And then this was the moment, unfortunately, for Fabien Rival, getting turned around by Ongaretto a bit further down the order. Guillot going for the lead, all over the place on 2 wheels. Girardo still somehow just fending them off lap after lap. Milan there just making an attack on Guillot to go through, taking advantage of the poor run that Mark had out of there. While Jimenez tries to win over everybody with the style points. Now there is the moment with Girardo, as Milan goes through and retakes the race lead. Girardo would eventually get it back though, which I'm sure had something to do with Nicolas Milan's demise further down the order. Now, they may be teammates and Milan may be the team manager, but I tell you what, it did not stop Anthony Girardo getting his elbows out and giving it everything he's got. He finished ahead of Mark Guillot and David Pouget. Flash of the lights, and very, very happy with that one. But will there be more words from Nicolas Milan at the end of it? We will have to wait and see. No news yet as of any sort of changes to the order or anything of that sort, but there are your top 3. Girardo taking another well-deserved and very hard-fought victory. Again, there is the slow-mo of the right rear coming off the ground on the way into the chicane. That is how hard they push them. Look, it's even completely off the ground over the entire curb through there as well. Really awesome to see. The commitment from these guys, unreal. So the first podium of the weekend then is going to be our top 3 overall from this race, which will start with 3rd place driver Mathieu Lanepudon. We have the local announcer as well, giving it everything he's got. And they hear it. Overall positions. Mathieu Lanepudon. Great result for him. Starting 3rd, finishing 3rd. Mark Guillot, car 2, P2. And Anthony Girardo takes the top step once again this season. And as Mr. Girardo also joins them on the podium, as you hear there, it's an absolute walkover for Milan Competition. And there you go, the national anthem of France, I should say. And that is the overall top 3 for the first race of the weekend here at the Hungaroring. And next up, we will have the very exciting Challengers Cup, which is for drivers that are either starting the season under the age of 26 or haven't competed in a set number of Clio Cup races before the season began. So the lesser experienced drivers and usually the younger drivers on the grid. Third place in that class will be the very talented and always exciting and also very tall Jerzy Spinkovic, who did get a 10-second penalty in that race, but still only finished 19 seconds off the top spot and rounded out the top 10 overall as well. And this is going to really help his challenge in the championship as well. As you can tell there, he is very tall, is Jerzy Spinkovic. Jimenez finishes second in that class after a very, very tough fight indeed. Goes all the way around the podium. And then Mathieu Lanepudonc back on the podium again. You can see there that Spinkovic is almost the same height as him. Actually, he's taller than him from the third step of the podium. Fantastic. Brilliant stuff. But Mathieu Lanepudonc, plenty of silverware to take with him. Spinkovic there, a little bit of a fist bump in the air. He can be pleased with that one. And then we have the final podium from the first race, which is the gentleman drivers, which will be the top three from that category. Third place in that one would have been Matteo Righetti. Quinto Stefana will be the second place driver, and then Lionel Viguier will be the winner in that category. But as you can see, there are the donuts that I mentioned from the truck racing a few weeks ago. Norbert Kish from Hungary winning his home race. But that will be all from us here at the Hungaroring for today. That was round 13 of the Clio Cup Europe. My name is Chaz Draycott. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will be with you again tomorrow in the afternoon at 20 to 4 local time. But for now, have a fantastic afternoon, and we will see you again very, very soon.